The Unannounced Return. Emeka left the dusty streets of Usha town with a heart full of hope and eyes heavy with tears. His wife, Ifeoma, was 4 months pregnant, and their three small children clung to his legs as he boarded the bus to the airport. "I will send for you soon," he promised. "The economy will not swallow our dreams." Life in Europe was not the paradise Emeka expected. Within weeks of arriving, he was robbed of his documents and his phone. He ended up in a remote logging camp, working under the radar to avert deportation. For 1 year, he was a ghost. He had no way to call home, no way to send money. He spent his nights crying, praying that Ifeoma would understand he hadn't abandoned them. After 18 months of hardship, Emeka's luck shifted. He helped an elderly businessman who, out of gratitude, helped him legalize his stay and offered him a job. The first thing Emeka did was buy a phone. When he finally called Ifeoma, the joy was explosive. "I thought you were dead," she sobbed. Emeka sent her home a large sum of money immediately. Over the next year, he sent a huge sum of money, telling Ifeoma to keep the money safe so they could build a mansion upon his return. Then the impossible happened. Emeka won a local lottery jackpot. He was suddenly a multimillionaire in a foreign currency. He decided to fly back home to surprise his family with a life of luxury they never imagined. Emeka arrived home unannounced, carrying suitcases filled with gifts. He took a taxi straight to the house he had been paying rent for. But when he got there, the neighbors looked at him like they had seen a spirit. "Emeka, is that you?" an old woman asked, her voice trembling. "Your wife, she doesn't live here anymore." Confused, Emeka was giving an address in a wealthy part of town. He drove there, thinking Ifeoma had used the money he sent to move them to a better place. He knocked on the gate, his heart racing with excitement. The gate opened, and his best friend Chinedu stepped out, wearing a silk robe. Chinedu turned pale, his jaw dropping. "Emeka, you're alive?" Before Emeka could answer, Ifeoma walked out behind Chinedu. She was heavily pregnant, her hand resting on her stomach. She wasn't wearing the necklace Emeka gave her. She was wearing a wedding ring that belonged to Chinedu. The silence was deafening. During the year Emeka couldn't be reached, Chinedu had stepped in as the comforter. He told Ifeoma that Emeka had likely started a new family abroad. Together, they had used the millions Emeka sent home to buy this very house and start a business. They had married quietly, convinced Emeka was gone forever. "I waited, Emeka," Ifeoma whispered, tears streaming down her face. "But Chinedu said you would never come back. We used the money to build a life together." Emeka could not fight. He did not shout. He looked at his best friend and the woman he had slaved for and felt a coldness settle in his soul. He took his suitcases and walked back to the car. He realized that while he was building a future abroad, he was sending the bricks to a man who was stealing his home. He took his remaining jackpot money, moved to a different city, and started a foundation to help displaced families. He eventually reunited with his three original children, but the bond with Ifeoma was broken beyond repair. The moral lesson: money can buy a house, but only trust can build a home. This story teaches us communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. Long silence creates a vacuum that the wrong people will fill. But be careful who you trust with your treasures. Not every best friend has your back. Some are just waiting for your seat to get cold. Assumptions are dangerous. Before moving on or making permanent life changes, ensure you have the truth. For more educative, entertaining, and interesting stories, please like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe to Folktales by Adurabola. Thank you!